Alright guys, today we're in a VS Caprice. Now I've actually had a VS Statesman on the channel before, but this is the step above. This is the Caprice, the full banana. Now this one has been a daily driven car, so it's not immaculate or perfect, but it's still 100% complete. It's an honest car. It's not been thrashed or anything. It's got a stock exhaust, and I just thought that I would show you, you know, sort of what this car's about. The very first thing is, because this is a Series 3, it's got this VT steering wheel, so it doesn't have the VS one that you might be used to. This is from the VT series, and it's also got all of its Caprice badging, all of these Caprice wood grain trims, which I really like. This one has leather seats, which is really cool, and they're electric too. So if I show you, well, you probably can't show, I'll show you later, but you can sort of put your memory into the seat and it moves to the memory and all of that stuff. It's got cruise control, and this is a little pocket, like sunglasses, little sort of cigarette ashtray thing there, and yeah, it's just it's really cool. Climate control, obviously. So this one is 100% complete. It drives fantastic, and it has the supercharged engine, the supercharged 6, so it's not a V8, the Super 6. And I just thought, again, that I would show this around. I have not really seen many Super 6 ones of these. They are either, you know, V6 Statesmans usually, or 5 litres. So that's my sort of estimation. And actually, normally I show you what it looks like at the end, but in this video I've just suddenly decided that that's not what I'm going to do. We're going to show you the outside. It is such a nice sunny day here, and the outside is fantastic. The Caprice has its own unique grille, which you can see there. You know, a few stone chips. Like I said, this car is quite original. It's honest. I do like these wheels. I believe they're VT Club Sport. It's got all of the chrome around here. It is missing the one on the front, but that's pretty normal because anyone that's had a windscreen, it misses. But love the side profile. And one of the sort of styling things that are a little bit controversial is the rear end, but I really like it because it sort of, yeah, really suits the car. This garnish is one of the first things that goes on these cars, and this one is in really good condition, which is amazing for the kilometers. Caprice, obviously. Nice rear end. The tint here is bubbling a little bit, but again, that's quite normal. And one thing I did want to show you is, if you sit in the back here, first of all, the room is just insane. I mean, I'm not very tall, but yeah, really a lot of room. But it has this. Now, I don't actually know if any of this works, because a lot of it is to do with the standard radio, but you know, you can turn the volume up, turn the volume down, that kind of thing. And there are speakers here, and I believe if I press this, yeah, there you go. Kind of cool, you know, you don't really see that anymore. And it's also got these little dome lights that you can sort of spin around and turn on. Again, this is only in the Caprice, in the top of the line one, I believe. And again, electric windows, which is pretty cool. Oh, probably don't have the ignition on. Chrome handles on the inside. Again, normally I show you this on the outside at the end of the video, but I just decided that I'd show you now. So what we'll do is we'll take it for a drive, and oh, there we go. And one thing that's really weird as well is it's kind of got this leathery thing going on here. I'm not too familiar with that, but what we'll do is take it for a drive. Now, like I said, this thing does have a few kilometers on it. It's, you know, it's been daily driven and cared for, but it drives great, and it runs even better. It runs really, really well. But it is Super 6. It's not slow by any means. It's not quick, you know, it's nothing absolutely crazy, but it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and the motor is extremely healthy in this car. Let's see if I press our Oh, another thing that's unusual is all three of the screens are working, which is crazy for the Ks that this has. And you can see there that it's got 13.4 average litres per 100, 328,000 Ks. But again, you wouldn't know it. Like, it drives so nice. The body's, you know, it has a few stone chips and things. And I think that this car is actually for sale currently. And whoever buys this, it's much more of a daily driver than a restoration. Because just with all of the chrome work and all of the other stuff, it would be very, very hard to find everything. It's not just paint, you know, it's all of the little 1%ers. But in terms of a daily driver, this thing is fantastic. And I think it's only up for $6,000, which is really not a lot of money for a Caprice. Top of the line, the leather seats are really nice. Again, I'm not usually the biggest fan of leather, but just when it's in this body, and it just suits it so well. And I love the VT wheel, even if it's got a bit of love on it, a bit of wear. And if you guys don't know, I actually have an L67 that I'm putting in a VS, just sort of in the middle of it. And this is sort of maybe kicked me into gear a little bit more, because it's quite fun to drive, even though this is, you know, reasonably heavy. I do enjoy driving this car, and because it's stock, you don't really hear too much supercharger whine. But you know, that actually brings me back, if you're an international viewer, the Americans, I don't believe you ever got this car. This is a VS Commodore, sort of based on the VS Commodore from the mid 90s, and this one is a late 90s, and I don't believe you ever got it, but you did get the engine, but never in a rear-wheel drive car. So this is rear-wheel drive supercharged V6, and I think you guys got it front-wheel drive only. So we got it in a few cars here in Australia, but the main one was sort of the higher end luxury model. So this, which is obviously Caprice, top of the line, and the Calais, which is on a different wheelbase, but also the luxury models. And then later in the years, they got them on sort of the sporty models as well. But in this model, it was only Statesman, Caprice, and Calais. But yeah, it's really cool. I don't know, it's I love the styling, and I think that this car really reflects what a perfect daily driver is. It's the perfect age, this car, of reliable electronics. You know, it's got just enough computers to run something. You don't need a carburetor, you know, you don't need any of that stuff. And you know, you got electric seats, you got cruise control. Actually, you know what, I'll show you that now. Go to 70. All you do is to press the button on and the one above it, and that's it. Cruise control, and now my feet are not on the pedals. So it works great. And I mean, what else do you need, honestly? It drives really nice, and I don't know, it's just you know, I'm lucky enough that I drive a lot of new cars, and you know, don't get me wrong, new cars are nice to drive, but man, they're so expensive. And this car is really not that expensive at all. You know, $6,000, like I said, is probably going to get you one. And why, you know, makes you think, why do I drive a new car? Because this car has everything. I admit, you know, the safety's not as good as the newer cars, but you know, this still has airbags and stuff. But in terms of reliability, this car is really up there. The old VS Ecotechs, I mean, they're known really all over the world, one of GM's best motors. And I don't, yeah, not just even Ford people, I think, would agree. You know, I'm not dissing Barras or the Intex, you know, which are the sort of similar age equivalents. They're good motors as well, but these are really good. Just Ford and Holden were both producing really good engines at this era. And it shows, because there are still so many of these out on the road. I daily drive a VS Commodore as well, a Ute, and I mean, it leaks a bit of power, but other than that, she's all right. She's doing pretty well. So yeah, I just this car just recognises, you know, probably sort of not when Holden was at its peak, but when cars I think were at its peak, because it's got everything you need and nothing you don't. No silly touchscreen. It's got a, you know, generic size, what do you call it, the single DIN slot, so you can put something with Bluetooth in there, which this car has, and perfect daily driver. Really comfortable and lazy car. I think the only things that this car doesn't have optioned, I believe, is the sunroof. It doesn't have a sunroof, and the 5-litre V8. But I did have a Statesman on the channel with a 5-litre V8, and honestly, in terms of speed, acceleration, if we're talking standard motors, there's virtually zero difference between the two. The biggest difference is just the 5-litre sounds fantastic. You can get these to sound pretty cool though too, especially with that supercharger whine. That's probably what I do to it, or what I want to do on my VS L67 is just have one of those sort of metal intake pipes, so you get loads of induction noise. But yeah, no, it's a great car and it drives nice, and I don't know, I just I really like this car, the Caprice, the Statesman. I never really, before I had the channel, I never really had given them a crack, but that has changed a lot. For some reason they've just come into my life a lot. I find myself driving them quite often now, but they're so nice and lazy and comfortable cruisers, and I've really developed a respect for the Statesman Caprices that I didn't necessarily have before I started the channel. So look, that's probably about it. Hope you guys enjoyed just that little rundown of the Caprice. Again, I really like this car, and I like what it represents, the sort of era that this car is from. And if you guys would like your car on the channel, please get in touch. I do have a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So if these are your kind of cars, please follow along, subscribe, and I really appreciate everyone for supporting me, especially on Shed Shirts, buying a lot of the Holden merchandise. It really helps me do the things that I do day to day. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching.